In D&D, subclasses are one of the smartest pieces of game design ever made. They take a generic mechanical chassis, like the fighter or rogue, and completely transform its narrative identity without changing the core rules underneath. A subclass is really just flavor layered on top of math. And that's exactly why people love homebrewing classes and subclasses. We want to turn our imagination into something playable, or give our character concepts real mechanical weight at the table. But here's the thing. What if you never needed to write a single rule? If subclasses are just flavor wrapped around mechanics, then you can skip the entire homebrew process through a technique called reflavoring. This means separating mechanics from description, keeping the balanced rules exactly the same, while completely rewriting what those abilities look like in the story. Today, we're going to take every official class in D&D and completely transform them for a gritty technopunk horror setting without changing a single mechanic. Let's start with the Barbarian. This is a wild, untamed warrior who draws power from pure instinct, primal fury, or ancestral spirits to become an unstoppable force of nature on the battlefield. What if instead of angry tribal warrior, we rebuilt it as a high-tech engineer piloting a prototype suit of deployable nanotech armor? Instead of primal fury, your source of power is just a dormant chest reactor or a sleek wristwatch, pulling inspiration straight from Iron Man, Guyver, or Power Rangers as the suit locks into place. Rage becomes suit deployment. You slap the activation node as a bonus action, and a wave of liquid metal or interlocking plates surges out to encase you in a combat chassis. That famous barbarian damage resistance is your dense kinetic plating absorbing the hits. Reckless attack becomes overclocked servos. You bypass the suit's artificial joint limiters to get terrifying mechanical speed, giving you advantage on your hits, but it leaves your hydraulic lines and internal wiring wide open to counterattacks. And you don't touch a single line of homebrew for the subclasses either. You just swap their description for machine upgrades. With the Zealot, you unlock a plasma overcharge module that routes excess battery power into your blade to deal extra radiant damage, while your healing dice become an automated nanite repair system that rapidly welds your tissue and armor back together. Up next, let's look at the Bard. Flavor-wise, a bard is a magical artist who weaves music, poetry, and performance to inspire allies, manipulate minds, and tap into the echoes of creation. But what if instead of a flamboyant lute player, we rebuild them as a frontline tactical lieutenant, utilizing rigorous military training, psychological warfare, and raw authority to command the battlefield? Instead of traditional magic, your source of power is a signaling whistle, a booming shout, or a precise tactical gesture, pulling inspiration straight from Halo's UNSC officers, historical drill sergeants, or seasoned fantasy captains. Your core features instantly rewrite themselves into tactical telemetry. Bardic inspiration becomes tactical orders. You don't play a song to make your fighter swing better. You bark a crisp, authoritative command like, "on your left," or "hold the line," giving your ally the exact surge of adrenaline and focus they need to nail that crucial role. Spellcasting becomes combat tactics and gear. Your spells are just military-grade maneuvers, and the subclasses let us specialize our lieutenant's command style. With the College of Lore, you are a military intelligence officer. Your cutting words feature isn't a witty insult, it's a targeted counter order or a tactical warning pulse that exposes an enemy's flaw right as they try to land a hit. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thank you. The cleric, flavor-wise, is a faithful champion who acts as a direct conduit for the cosmic power of a deity, a pantheon, or philosophy, using divine magic to heal allies and manifest the literal will of their god on earth. But what if instead of a pious holy priest, we rebuild it as an occult investigator or blood-right inquisitor? Instead of divine grace, your source of power is forbidden knowledge, a blood pact with an ancient entity or a terrifying artifact you dug up in a forgotten ruin, pulling inspiration straight from Bloodborne, Van Helsing, or classic Lovecraftian lore. Your core features instantly rewrite themselves into dark occultism. Channel divinity is now artifact activation. You don't bow your head and pray. You unwrap a cursed, weeping relic or trigger an ancient signal, unleashing a wave of reality-warping energy that forces enemies to recoil in terror. Spellcasting becomes occult rituals and curses. Your spells are dark secrets and forbidden phenomena. And the subclasses let us specialize your occult loadout. With the light domain, you are a purging inquisitor. Your radiant fire isn't the gentle sun, it's a harsh, searing phosphorus light or a burning alchemical mixture designed to purge filth and blind abominations in the dark. The druid is up next. The player's handbook paints them as a soft-spoken hermit who hugs trees and transforms into a badger. Forget all of that. What if we stripped away the leaves and rebuilt the class as a biomancer, a high-tech geneticist rewriting cellular biology on the fly? Instead of channeling nature's grace, your power comes from a biomechanical wrist gauntlet and a deep understanding of genetic engineering. Think Moira from Overwatch, X-Men's Beast, or a sci-fi mad scientist altering DNA in real time. Instead of a magical transformation, wild shape becomes cellular reconstruction. You aren't turning into a wolf because you love the forest. You are hitting a button on your gauntlet to trigger a rapid, controlled rearrangement of your own DNA, shifting your muscle density and skeletal structure into a specialized form. Circle of the Moon works as a marine bioengineer. You have mastered the fluid dynamics of deep-sea life. You manipulate kinetic pressure fields and discharge hydrochemical blasts to batter enemies and shield yourself from harm. Now, fighters already fit every setting as they are, but let's really transform the way in which their features work at its core to fit the vibe of our setting. Instead of a disciplined martial warrior, we flavor the fighter as an exosuited breacher or a steam-powered shock trooper. Their supernatural physical features aren't from working out, they are the result of heavy hissed pneumatic hydraulics and dangerous chemical injectors bolted directly to their spine, taking inspiration straight from Halo or Fallout. Watch how the mechanics completely shift their flavor. Second Wind works like adrenaline injector. You slap a manual override on your chest rig, forcing a high-grade chemical cocktail into your bloodstream that instantly numbs the pain of your wounds and lets you push forward. Action Surge is a pneumatic override. You vent safety valves in your steam-powered exosuit. Steam hisses violently from your armored plates as a hydraulic piston redline, forcing your limbs to move at a terrifying, unnatural speed for a split second. Indomitable works like kinetic dampeners or a mechanical reset. When you would normally succumb to a crushing blow or a mental assault, the heavy iron gears in your armor lock into place, physically bracing your spine, or a jolt of electricity from your rig shocks your brain out of a magical stupor. The subclasses let you tailor their mechanical loadout to the horror setting. The Psi Warrior works as an aether kineticist. You aren't a Jedi using space magic. Your powers are a volatile, steam-hissing gravity rig bolted to your spine. Your features like protective field and telekinetic movement become localized magnetic pulses and pneumatic tether lines that violently warp the physical forces around you. Now, flavor-wise, the official rules paint the monk as a peaceful, meditating ascetic who harnesses the mystical energy of ki flowing through their own body to achieve superhuman speed and perfect physical discipline. But for this setting, we're completely ripping that out. Instead, we're building the cyber soldier, a tragic, heavily augmented living weapon who has been subjected to horrific military experimentation. Your power doesn't come from spiritual enlightenment. They come from high-grade hydraulic pistons forced into your joints, supercharged robotic prosthetic limbs, and a volatile military computer chip wired directly into your central nervous system, pulling inspiration straight from the brutal cybernetics of Star Wars, cyberpunk, and dark military sci-fi. You are an engineered force of pure physical trauma. Focus points work like neural overclocking. Your resource pool is your wetware forcing the experimental computer chip in your brain past safe human limits, temporarily demanding maximum dangerous output from your cybernetic chassis. Stunning Strike is a cybernetic EMP burst. Your prosthetic hand delivers a direct, high-voltage neural feedback loop upon impact. Your chip sends a targeted electromagnetic or bioelectric pulse straight into the victim's nervous system, instantly short-circuiting their brain and freezing their muscles solid. With Warrior of the Elements, you gain an integrated weapon system. You have lethal, high-tech payloads built directly into your cybernetic chassis. Your extended strike reach and elemental damage are the result of wrist-mounted plasma throwers, liquid nitrogen projectors, or high-frequency voltaic arc emitters flowing directly out of your knuckles to melt, freeze, or shock anything in your path. Up next, let's look at the Paladin. The standard player's handbook paints them as a shining, holy knight bound to a sacred church or divine oath. But for this setting, we are throwing all of that out. Instead, we're pulling heavy inspiration from The Witcher to rebuild the class as the alchemical mutant, a grim, self-medicated monster slayer whose powers come from a lifetime of toxic experimental elixirs that permanently altered their biology. Once you look past the holy flavor text, the mechanics snap into a dark, chemical archetype. Divine Smite is a chemical overload. You don't call down holy light. Instead, you trigger a localized, violent chemical reaction in your own bloodstream, forcing your muscles to contract with devastating explosive force the exact millisecond your blade impacts a target. Lay on Hand, it works like healing injectors. You carry a customized bandolier of specialized antitoxins and quick-acting coagulants. You're just slamming high-grade chemical boosters directly into an enemy's neck to instantly seal wounds and neutralize blood poisons. Aura of Protection is a chemical shield. Your mutated body constantly exudes an invisible, odorless chemical vapor. This airborne compound sharpens the reflexes and dulls the pain receptors of any allies standing within your immediate vicinity. The Oath of Vengeance is an apex predator formula. You have injected a highly unstable predatory monster strain designed for raw, unadulterated termination. Your Vow of Enmity is a target lock adrenaline cocktail that hyper-focuses your vision on a single prey, tracking their micro-muscle movements to guarantee your strikes hit home. Your relentless avenger is a neuromuscular trigger. The exact microsecond an enemy tries to slip away, your body violently jerks forward in a chemical sprint, pursuing them before they can even register your movement. Now let's talk about the ranger. Forget the soft-spoken, nature-loving woodsman who tracks deer and talks to trees. In a world of gaslight and terror, we are stripping away the primal magic and rebuilding this class as the gadgeteer, a brilliant, cold-hearted combat engineer who relies entirely on a massive arsenal of custom traps, clockwork tools, and specialized utility ammunition to survive. Once you look past the wilderness flavor text, the 2024 Ranger's mechanical kit plays out exactly like a high-tech survival specialist. Hunter's Mark can be played as a target lock monocle. You flip down a specialized brass lens over your eye to run real-time ballistics and structural analytics on a monster, highlighting its physical weak points so your weapons deal extra damage on every hit. Roving becomes hydraulic thrusters. Your movement buff and climbing speed aren't a mystical adaptation to nature. You have integrated pneumatic micro thrusters into your boots that give you a steady mechanical burst of speed and allow you to scale vertical walls with ease. Tireless plays as a dermal injector matrix. Your ability to gain temporary hit points and shed exhaustion is a subdermal medical harness that automatically pumps adrenaline cocktails and cellular mending coagulants into your system when your vitals drop or fatigue sets in. The 2024 subclasses map onto this engineering loadout perfectly. Choosing the Hunter turns you into a telemetry specialist. Your subclass features mean you are discarding mystical intuition for a tactical combat monocle that runs real-time defensive telemetry on your targets, letting your display lens instantly expose a monster's biology and structural weak points the moment you look at them. Next, we are moving away from the classic image of a hooded street urchin, the pickpocket, or a flashy swashbuckler for the rogue. In this setting, your precision and stealth aren't born from a life of petty crime. You are the surgical assassin. You are a cold, clinical anatomist who views the chaotic violence of combat as a delicate medical procedure. Using your mastery of biology, specialized surgical steel, and local anesthetics to dismantle threats with terrifying efficiency. Sneak attack is an anatomical strike. You don't just get lucky or strike from a blind spot. You are actively exploiting your deep knowledge of humanoid and monstrous biology, placing a single razor-sharp scalpel or precise needle right between vulnerable vertebrae or directly into a major artery for maximum lethality. Cunning action is an adrenaline surge. Your ability to dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action isn't just nimble footwork. It is the result of a spring-loaded wrist injector that delivers rapid, microdoses of refined stimulants to your bloodstream, momentarily sharpening your reflexes and deadening your pain receptors. Cutting strike is a trauma inducer, allowing you to trade your raw precision damage to inflict devastating status penalties in real time. You are sacrificing sheer force to perform highly specified physical sabotage, like severing a crucial motor tendon to trip a foe, or splashing a blinding, caustic solution directly into their eyes. The subclasses map onto this clinical archetype beautifully. For example, by taking the soul knife, You become a biokinetic resonator. Your psychic blades aren't magical energy. They are solid projections of high-frequency, neural-disrupting sound waves generated by a prototype tuning harness on your chest, slicing clean through a target's mind while leaving their physical skin completely unbroken. Now let's talk about the sorcerer. Forget the traditional image of a gifted arcanist born with a magical bloodline or a spark of cosmic luck. In this grim, gaslit landscape, you didn't inherit magic. You are the cursed host. Your supernatural power is a terrifying biological burden born from a horrific parasite, a lingering demonic contagion, or a spectral infestation that has taken root inside your physical body, violently tearing through your flesh to manifest its twisted will whenever you channel its energy. Stripping away the high fantasy flavor reveals that the 2024 sorcerer's mechanical core plays out like a volatile internal infection fighting for control. Innate sorcery looks like a symbiotic overdrive. You deliberately yield control to the entity writhing under your skin, causing your eyes to roll back, your veins to blacken, and your biological systems to kick into a hyper-reactive state that forces your spells to hit with terrifying accuracy. Font of Magic becomes metabolic conversion. You're physically trading your own vital energy to fuel the entity, cannibalizing your muscle tissue and adrenaline reserves to violently force your parasite to manifest more raw power. Meta magic is like a mutagenic distortion, altering the shape, range, and speed of your spells is just you physically reshaping the biological output of your curse. By twisting your own flesh or letting the entity violently warp your vocal cords, you can force an alchemical blast to double the distance or split a neural shockwave to tear through two minds simultaneously. And with the wild magic subclass, you act as a volatile contagion. Your chaotic surges aren't whimsical magical mishaps, but rather a highly unstable, flesh-warping disease that acts with a violent mind of its own, causing your internal biology to randomly explode with unpredictable kinetic shockwaves, sudden cellular rapid aging, or bursts of blinding chaotic radiation whenever you draw on its power. Let's look at the Warlock. We are completely ripping out the concept of a submissive occultist begging an otherworldly entity for magical secrets. In this world of desperate innovation and dark science, you are the technomancer. You have signed a binding corporate or illicit contract with a massive, shadowy techno-industrial entity, grafting a specialized, highly illegal mainboard or data tap directly into your nervous system to siphon raw, unstable power from proprietary network grids or experimental engines. When you look at the 2024 core mechanics, the Warlock functions exactly like a hardwired tech thief, bleeding a corporate mainframe dry. Packed magic works like high-frequency capacitors. Your spell slots aren't a pool of traditional magical stamina. You possess highly efficient, rapidly recharging microcapacitors that can only hold a few devastating, high-voltage charges at a time, but they cycle through power so quickly that they completely top off their energy reserves after just a brief system reset. Your Eldritch invocations are just hardware modifications. Modifying your capabilities is no longer a matter of learning dark secrets. You are physically unscrewing your chassis to hot swap illegal modular hardware upgrades into your meatware, like soldering a thermal targeting sight onto your optical nerves or overriding your subdermal mesh to sprint across vertical walls. And the ones you get at level 1, your traditional magical pact, that is when you choose a pact weapon, familiar, or tome. It's a specific physical piece of masterwork corporate hardware issued directly by your handler. Whether it's a monomolecular hard light blade, a clockwork spy drone, or an encrypted data pad humming with stolen blueprints, this device serves as the dedicated terminal routing power from your patron server right to your fingertips. The subclasses represent the exact corporate conglomerate or industrial power grid your rig is tapped into. With the Archfey, you are a quantum phase hacker. Your subclass features mean you are drawing power from an experimental light-bending research grid, allowing you to forcefully short-circuit space-time to instantly teleport short distances while leaving behind a blinding flash of digital static or localized auditory frequency that leaves nearby enemies completely disoriented. Finally, let's look at the wizard. We are completely burning the classic trope of the dusty academic in a velvet robe, memorizing ancient glowing runes from a massive leather book. In this smoke-choked world of desperate gambles and dark performances, you are the tarot deck illusionist. Your spellbook isn't a collection of texts, it's a custom-printed, chemically treated deck of masterwork tarot cards, and your spellcasting is a high-stakes sleight-of-hand performance that uses light-bending ink, volatile alchemical coating, and hypnotic showmanship to project your calculated calculations into reality. Stripping away the high fantasy flavor reveals that the 2024 Wizard's mechanical core plays out like a master dealer manipulating a rigged deck. Your spellbook is the masterwork deck. Your collection of formulas is not just a journal of text, it is a highly customized, heavy cardstock deck where every formula is meticulously coded into the intrinsic geometric illustrations of a specific card, requiring you to carefully cultivate your hand during a long rest to prepare your options for the day. The academic feature, Memorize Spell, is the old trick up the sleeve. This 2024 mechanical upgrade, allowing you to hot swap a prepared spell on the fly, isn't a sudden burst of memory. It's pure, practiced misdirection, a flawless piece of card palming showmanship that lets you seamlessly slide the discarded card back into your active hand. Choosing the Evoker subclass turns you into a pyrotechnic dealer. Your subclass features are fueled by highly unstable, explosive chemical compounds painted right onto the face of your cards, letting you snap your fingers to ignite blinding phosphorus flares and targeted concussive blasts, while meticulously calculating the blast radii so your allies never catch a single stray spark. And finally, as a special bonus, let's flip the script entirely. We've spent the whole video dragging standard fantasy classes kicking and screaming into a gritty clockwork nightmare. But what happens if we take the Artificer, the most tech-heavy class in the game, and push it in the exact opposite direction? What if you want to run an Artificer in a pure high fantasy mythical campaign? You don't need to change a single mechanic. You just need to swap out the grease, gears, and wrenches for the Rune Weaver. Instead of an engineer assembling gadgets, you're a master of primeval magic who views the foundational rules of reality like a grand tapestry, using your tools to spin, dye, and knot threads of raw power into physical form. Watch how your core features become masterwork artistry. Infuse item works like arcane embroidery. Giving equipment magical properties is not an engineering upgrade. You spend your short rest lacing beautiful glowing glyphs and intricate elven embroidery directly into the seams of mundane gear, anchoring the swiftness of the wind into a pair of boots or a mountain's weight into a shield. Flash of Genius is just your weaver's intuition. Your ability to suddenly grant a massive bonus to an ally's saving throw or ability check isn't just quick-witted tactical calculation. You visually spot a fraying, snapping strand in the tapestry of fate just a second before it breaks, giving your ally a sharp, verbal command or flicking a single thread of magic to forcefully restitch their luck in real time. Choosing the Armorer subclass turns you into a glyph-woven vanguard. Your specialized power suit is a magnificent set of armor completely overlaid with shifting, interlocking runes of light, allowing you to reweave the defensive threads on the fly to switch between a heavy, force-absorbing bulwark or a silent, shadow-cloaked infiltration suit. This is the real power of reflavoring. You don't need pages of homebrew mechanics to create something that feels completely new. The rules are already there. You just change the story wrapped around them. Once you stop treating flavor text like law, the entire game opens up. So next time you build a character, don't ask, what subclass should I play? Ask, what story can these mechanics tell?